This week
Because
on
of
My Time to Talk,
But like he said, if they spent 55 million, was it
70
70 million on a film?
was mainly an activist. He talked activism. Zimbabwe wasn't even in the film.
They didn't even get to Africa.
They didn't even
The
get to
film,
Africa.
yeah. When you bear in mind who made the film and the ideologies that they hold, then you will understand why they couldn't really go too much into.
So we're gonna go into it because
I couldn't believe that I've lost my voice this morning. It's awful.
Oh my gosh. Shameless.
shameless promo. Oh, there's rain. Oh, there's rain.
Are we ready? Are we ready?
Well,
Are we ready?
should we do a clip?
Time
Till
talk.
y'all don't want to talk.
Well, they say with progression sometimes come with distraction. We've had our share of distraction since we started this channel. So today, we'll probably tell you about that a bit later. But today, as we've seen One Love, let's not get into any copyrighted.
I just said 2 words.
In a rhythmic beat.
Because we've
That's copyrighted.
what's it? We thought that we thought we'd review it on each level of knowledge of Bob Marley, and see how we see the film differently. I can honestly say that I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. How many would you give it?
A 5.
And you?
I'm gonna go 6, mainly because of the
songs.
the main guy, and and the songs. I think the main guy did a good job. And
That
the
was my
songs.
5.
Yeah, the songs.
That's it. Yeah,
The acting was good.
The
and the songs was good.
acting from like the actual cast was amazing. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but
The storyline needed a lot of development.
so we're gonna go into it because
Well,
We're
sounds
just
like
starting
we're
on the
done,
what's
yeah.
it, but we'll go in
I
on.
feel like sorry,
Carry on.
but we jumped in. And my man was a grown ass man to a little youth in the car. Like that was it. We was already, I was like,
What
Did we
happened?
just-
Yeah.
did we
we
miss,
miss
the
something?
beginning of the movie? Like what happened? Yeah, so that was just my first what
Yeah.
sort of thing.
And I thought, as a docu film, which is like what it was given to believe, it was a bit sparse on actual facts. Because, like me being an older lady and knowing about Bob Marley from his inception into the music world,
Yeah, mommy was giving.
I
us a
felt
very
like I've been cheated because, like, I don't know how you could do Bob Marley's life without talking about Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer.
Shut up, Rich.
That was kind of like, what? Do you know, like, how, you know, like, Bob Marley was never a romantic. Bob Marley was a revolutionary person. He's very revolutionary. I mean, he's the one that was mainly an activist. He talked activism. Zimbabwe wasn't even in the film.
They didn't even get to Africa.
He didn't even
the
get to
film,
Africa.
He got shot twice as far as I was concerned. Within the first like 2 seconds. No, I think it was like 12 minutes in, literally. I was like, so my man is a grown ass man, 2 kids at this point, married, the whole thing. Is already somebody, but not to the Jamaicans. And 12 minutes in, he's been shot. And there was no names of who these people were that he was hanging around with. No introduction. Like literally, it was just like okay, yeah. And these are the people that he was hanging around. But it gave no stature to accept for their acting. Like there was no like to say this is somebody. Do you know what I mean? It was
The only person we actually,
pointless.
the only person we actually knew of his children was Ziggy, and
Surprise,
and
surprise.
surprise, Ziggy was the only person that they conferred with for the movie. I mean, like, really? I mean, you spent 70 million on an hour and a half film, and you didn't even cover half the things that Bob Marley was known for. He wasn't just known for how many women he had or how many children he had. He was known as an activist, as somebody that we all like saluted for bringing out the thing right now in California. Marijuana is legal. What was one of Bob Marley's songs? Legalize, marijuana, and that wasn't even mentioned. So honestly, that was a letdown as far as I'm concerned.
I think my beef with it is the parts that should have been given weight. So like, his up and coming thing with the Wailers, and they kind of touched on all of this important history through flashbacks, rather than actually letting the story be explored.
Right? Yeah.
And I can understand editorial license and making a movie. I get that, but there's a way of doing it, and I just feel that those were the parts that made the man. So if we're not going to get into that, we can't just start as him as an artist. Like, it didn't, for anybody that didn't know Bobby, it wasn't a good, not that I knew him personally, I mean, like, as a person, and knows his story, and as my mum was saying, like, his activism, his revolutionary ideology. Even the Rastafarianism really wasn't kind of explored in the correct way, I feel. So yeah, like, I feel that was majorly let down, and I feel like after all of these years, we could have had a lot better, basically. Yeah. And I just feel like it wasn't long enough. It felt like they got to the part where he had cancer, all of that was rushed, and then we got to the concert where he bought the Michael Manley.
But they showed that a sort of flashback
but
way.
This is what I mean.
Well.
They chose to use that as the ending of the movie, and then use, which I like when they show the original pieces to reference at the end of a movie. But they've used that as the ending of the movie, rather than
that should have been the movie.
Rather than acting that bit out as well.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like, what was this? Like, it just felt very slapdash. The only bit I rated was when they changed the perspective of him looking for his dad in that scene that we keep seeing. We're shown, and it's implied that it's his dad, but then once he gets the ring, that's when, like, he changes the narrative that it was Selassie that he was seeing in his dreams all this time.
But did they tell us that? But did they tell us that?
Have to say spoilers.
I think we've left it long enough.
But did they tell us that the song "War" and "Rumors of War" was a Selassie speech?
Which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned until there are no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nature, that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained.
Because until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, war! until the philosophy which old one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Well, everywhere is war. It's your war. And until there's no longer first class nor second class citizens of any nation, and until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of the size, I've got to say what.
Do you know what I mean? No, they didn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you're having a docu film, please tell people what it is all
And it
about.
wasn't clear.
I mean, that would have only taken another
It wasn't
10
clear
minutes.
as well when he was making the song, like he was saying, whether that was something that he actually did, like he just made up songs off head,
Yeah.
like to just stand
But that
there
was
and-
off Selassie's speech. You know what I mean? The war and rumours of a war. And as it's very prevalent nowadays, I mean, for what's going on around the world, it would have been good to actually show that it's a prophecy. Do you know what I mean? That is a prophecy. That isn't just Bob Marley talking about stuff. Selassie actually prophesied that in his speech, that until there is there's no significance about people's skin or the colour of people's eyes, or there'll be war and there'll be rumours of war. And what have we got these days? The same said thing. And it would have been so good to actually document all the songs, you know, like...
But let's be honest, they didn't want to go down that route because it's too politicised. So they've tried to make it like he was like this hippified version of a Rasta, so that they didn't have to get into the political ideology, because, you know, when you bear in mind who made the film and the ideologies that they hold, then you will understand why they couldn't really go too much into
I
those
feel
kind of
like they
things.
literally made it into a film about a guy who like is mixed race, growing up around
That's
black
it,
people,
yeah.
and
Which was
he
part
gets
of it, but
and
yeah,
he's
it's not the whole
he's not
man.
accepted by black guys and he's not accepted by white guys, and he doesn't know where he fits in until he finds to be a
Rita?
Rastafari.
No, but they
right,
depicted
yeah.
it like
Oh,
it
like
was
it
he
was
found
Rita.
Rita, and that was kind of thingy. But I don't think that
Which
that's
is,
the truth.
as an
And,
older
like,
person
if you're
that
gonna
knows
be
about Bob
focusing
Marley...
if you're going to be focusing on like Bob Marley and his history, I don't know whether like it's because he is so significant to so many people. It's hard to like
I think it's a precious,
depict that.
precious.
Like depict that story to the satisfaction of everyone. I
everybody.
don't know whether that is the case,
no,
but I
you
genuinely
won't.
do.
You won't.
I can't like blame it on the actors because I feel like they did their
Oh, the
job.
actors were
But
amazing.
like you said, if they spent 55 million, was it
70?
70 million on
I
a
don't see
film,
where it went.
but then they filmed the majority of it in England. So I'm not too sure how like that's gone, where that money's gone. If it wasn't in
production, then, isn't it?
yeah.
But I would
don't
say
know.
that if you're going to do a film about an icon, because he is an icon, don't do it like that. You
Those
know,
dreads
like
alone probably
I would
cost
say,
a cool
please
bill.
don't do it like that, because like if it's information for people that don't know Bob Marley, that wasn't information
But look at the Ray
about
Charles
Bob Marley.
biopic. The
You
Ray
know what I
Charles
mean?
one, I think, was
That was
perfectly
amazing.
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
It went into his
But it wasn't
childhood,
done in
it
an
went into
hour
his
and a half.
activism, it showed that he wasn't perfect as a
was
man,
amazing.
but that you can still, you know, stand for something and not be perfect. We're not all perfect, but I just feel like, yeah, that was a very honest depiction. So that was the kind of standard I was waiting for, and it didn't come.
Yeah, that was a letdown.
yeah.
Definitely a letdown. But, you know, as I says, if somebody thinks they know about Bob Marley from that film, sorry, you don't. You don't. Do you know what I mean? I'm somebody that knows Bob Marley before even Lux, and you know, I would never start his life as a car ride with two of his children. You know what I mean? Two of his children in a car. I would never start Bob Marley's life. That's kind of like, I don't know. I can't even think what that is like. Do you know what I mean?
You haven't showed the audience why he's respected. You've just said, okay, like
this is a man that sang some
everyone's
songs.
like looking at him and they know who he is. Okay, so well, why is he respected, sort of thing? And then when you are saying why he's respected, it's in small black and white clips.
Yeah, at the end of the film.
No, and writing at the beginning to say
and writing at the end
to tell you the whole story.
and then at the end,
you had to read it.
writing. So it was like, okay, so
why don't you just write all of it?
why did you write it in the
Read the
script? Why did you just write that bit in instead of looking on locations?
As I says, try not to think that is a Bob Marley proper depiction of Bob Marley. You wouldn't be correct. You wouldn't be correct. So anyway, what's your opinion if you've seen the film?
Think? Yeah, exactly. What
You know what I mean? Because I mean, like, I've had reports that it was a lovely film. I actually thought that did they fall asleep? You know, and there is people that has actually says, yeah, I thought that was great.
No, not
you know what I mean? Like, at least it told you something about Bob.
But do you know what? And this is what I mean. I'm sorry to go again, but even if you sold it as a musical, I still didn't rate it. Like, I watch musicals.
It was a musical.
No, but I'm saying, like, even
if
like,
you're gonna sell it as a
musical
musical
and say, well, you know, we wanted it just to be more about the music and whatever, like. Yeah, like the music was fantastic, but even then you didn't touch on the
music that
music,
you could have touched on.
Do you know the actual theme that it was supposed to be?
One Love?
No, like what category it would fit into. They said that
biopic, I presume.
They said it was a biopic.
Well, they said it was, but
It was possible.
I can't see the resemblance myself. You know, probably I'm too old and I remember too much.
Well,
but
yeah, they were
I
counting on
know.
your generation.
I
being
know. I have sat in concerts and
couldn't afford
and
the
more
rest of them.
concerts, and there isn't anybody of my age
Wait
group
another however
would
many
actually
years, then
say,
make it
"Oh,
140 mil, and then maybe we would have got the rest of the story.
yeah."
But yeah.
So there you go. You can tell us if you think,
Let us know.
you know, if you've watched it, or if you think that we're just going in on this film. You know, for goodness sake, I could have given 50 million of that to some Rasta foundation. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Rasta with the
people.
locks, though.
Yeah, there's people starving, and there wasn't one Jamaican in the film.
No,
apparently,
he was a
definitely-
Jamaican.
he was
That dude
definitely
with the
those locks were
Kingsley.
like heavy.
the locks wrapped around his.
Oh, he was.
He was a
He's ripping
Jamaican, no
Yeah.
doubt. But
No,
yeah,
yeah.
the main characters, none of them were Jamaican, which is another disappointing thing. That of all the actors, you can't go to Jamaica and find some Jamaican actors. Like,
You know.
come on, man. give
Not
people
that
a
the
break.
actors were not.
No,
amazing.
they were.
that's
But, I mean, they
Like,
are well-known
honestly,
actors and
the main
actresses.
two-
Like, they are really well-known, and I understand sometimes you need to bring well-known people in to make people watch. But this was a film about Bob Marley. People were going to watch it anyway, so this was a good time to give somebody a chance.
blast,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, that's.
So anyway, you can tell us what you think, and please do. Do you know what I mean? As he says, we've had our distractions for the last 3 weeks, so we would be more than happy to hear about somebody else's point of view and somebody else's take on the whole film. So anyway, subscribe, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Bye.
Like and subscribe.
My time to talk.